Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. This is the Flowcast with me, DWall. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been such a long time since I've actually had time to sit down and actually do something like this, actually record something like this, but I felt like this is the right time. I felt like this is the right opportunity for me to come back and just give my thoughts on things and kind of give my opinions on certain aspects that I've been looking at. This is going to be something that's kind of unscripted. It's something that I don't have a script for this. I don't have anything prepared. I promised on my social media that I was going to be giving my thoughts on Revolution and what happened with that. I am going to do that, and I also might just talk about a couple of other things that's just on my mind. Like I said, this is just going to be kind of free flowing and see how you guys like it. See if it's something that you want to hear more of, if it's something that you want to continue to see. If there's things that I need to improve on, let me know. But enough about that. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. Let's talk about AEW Revolution this past Sunday. I watched it. It was an amazing, amazing show. I really liked all the matches on it. I think it was well paced. I think that the flow was very, very good. I was literally on the edge of my seat for a couple of matches there for that show. I know that Sting's last match was the talking point. It was kind of the highlight of the entire night. It was what the entire show was built around, was that match. And I know a lot of people had things to say about the Darby spot, the glass spot on that card. I didn't have a problem with it as much as other people had a problem with it. I know there was a lot of, well, not a lot of people, but there were people on my timeline at least that liked it. There was some people that didn't like it, and that's fine. You know, not everybody's gonna like certain things. Not everybody's gonna like certain aspects of it. But I liked it. I think later on, news came out that Darby was insistent on doing the spot because it's Sting's last match. He wanted to make sure that it was something that people remembered, and they took the right safety measures from what I saw. There was supposed to be some alternate finish to the match if Darby couldn't compete, if Darby couldn't finish the match, which is fine. I understand. So, in the end of the day, in all aspects of it, I think that the entire retirement with him being able to go out with his sons and getting the revenge on the Young Bucks and everything, I think that was really well done. According to reports, I believe it was Sports Illustrated, I think, that reported that Sting wanted to lose, and the Bucks and Tony were like, "No, you." They're like, "We want you to go out on top. We want you to win the match." And then eventually Sting was like, "Okay, we'll go with that." And everyone was happy with the finish. Everyone was happy with how it turned out. And again, at the end of the day, the I think that the end of the day, the fact that he was happy with his retirement and how it went is the most important thing. And I think that's the one thing that everybody really should be focused on, is that Sting got to go out on his own terms. And a few years ago, when he got hurt in with that buckle bomb that Rollins did, which was totally accidental, it was freak accident, freak of the moment thing. I think a lot of people thought that's it, Sting's done. And I, for one, am glad that he's not. That he got to end things on his own terms. That he got to call his shot. That he got to, at the end, say, this was the retirement that I wanted. This is the way I want to go out. And he went out on top, undefeated, tag team champion with Darby Allin, somebody who he says is the best tag team partner he's ever had. And I think at the end, like I said, I think when it's all said and done, I think that is the most important aspect of this, is that Sting got to end things his way, and that's the most important thing. That's something that I think was so cool about that show. But even then, even past that, the Takeshita Osprey match was really, really solid, really well done. The crowd was hot for that. I saw people that didn't like the Tony and Deanna match very much. I can see both sides of that argument. I think from what I've been hearing from other places, other people that reviewed the show, it was more, I think, Tony still trying to figure out the balance between character and wrestling. And that makes a lot of sense, because I think if she can nail down the perfect blend of character and work rate, I think she's got that down. She's got the character down great. Like outside of the wrestling part, she's got the character down pat, but it's when it comes to in ring, when it comes to when the bell rings, that's what she needs to still kind of balance, because she knows how to wrestle. She can wrestle circles around anybody if she wants to, but I think it's the fact that she hasn't really translated this character into, okay, this is how this character wrestles. This is how we can kind of tone down a little bit more of the goofy aspect of it and really just hone in on the technical side of things, because she can do that and she can be that. But other than that, the match wasn't that bad. In my opinion, it wasn't that bad. The only really bad quote unquote match on the show, and even that was decent to an extent, but I can see where people said, this wasn't as good, is the scramble match. And there were some rough spots in there. There were some rough patches in there. I know a lot of people are tired of Jericho at this point, and I understand that. I understand why that is. Wardlow winning was kind of given, because he's the one that's kind of going after the world title right now. He's the next in line. If you saw Dynamite on the 6th, then you know that on Big Business on the 13th, Wardlow's getting his title shot against Joe. So they're getting it out of the way quickly, and I think they're getting it out of the way quickly because they're going to go with Swerve and Joe at Dynasty. And I think that's the perfect way to go. I think if you give Swerve the belt at Dynasty, it would make sense, because it wouldn't be overshadowed, because everyone, like I said at the beginning, everyone was talking about Sting and his retirement. A good chunk of the people there, I'd say about 95% of the people that were at that show were there for Sting's retirement. So if you gave Swerve the belt at Revolution, yes, it would make sense, and yes, it would be a great moment, but it would be just that. It would be a moment. It wouldn't be as impactful as it would be. It wouldn't be as impactful as it would be if it was just one-on-one. It wouldn't be as impactful as if, say, it was as if it was going to be, at Dynasty. Because at Dynasty, at least you have a one-on-one match. It's just Swerve and Joe. It's nobody else. No triple threat. No extra man to get involved in the match or anything that way. And then you just crown Swerve then, and you give him his moment all alone by himself. He has that moment to shine. He has that moment to say, I'm the top guy. And that's what you want. That's what you want. You want Swerve to be the lone guy with the belt, holding the belt up at the end of the night. And I think that's what's going to happen at Dynasty. I think this past episode of Dynamite really, and I know I'm skipping around and I'm sorry about that, but hey, it's my show, so, and I'm still getting back into the podcast thing. But I think that just the thought of Dynasty coming together so quickly, because it's happening in April 21st. And you already have essentially 3 matches pretty much lined up already. You have 3 matches lined up already. You have Swerve and Joe. You have what they set up at the end of the show, which was Osprey and Danielson. And then you have the other big match that they set up or potentially set up, which is Okada and Kingston, which that got set up because the Young Bucks came out on Dynamite and said, we have 2 big announcements. First is first it said that Hangman Page, you're fired from the Elite. And I think they meant to say fired from AEW, but fired from the Elite. I mean, either way works. I think the message was pretty straightforward. And then the second one was, Kenny, you haven't made your dates for no good reason, even though we all know the real reason why he hasn't been around. And they said, you're fired from the Elite. And then they proceed afterward to go on and say, we have another announcement. But then Eddie Kingston comes out, and Eddie Kingston's just no nonsense, and he says, hey, if I know you're going to find me if I say something bad about you. So he throws a bunch of money at him and says, go ahead and find me, I don't care. They get into a brawl, they're about to hit the EVP trigger on him, and then the coin drop. And everyone in the building lost their minds, even though you would think that in near Atlanta nobody would know who Okada is if you're like, oh, it's just Atlanta. I mean, maybe they know, maybe they don't. The building's not that full, blah, blah, blah. Whatever excuse you want to make. But Okada shows up. The place goes nuts. Eddie gets helped up by Okada because it's like, okay, well, Okada's going to help Eddie. Okada's like, all right, let's go get him. Eddie takes the lead because Eddie Kingston always wants to be ahead of the pack when it comes to beating somebody down. And then he gets grabbed by the waist into the Rainmaker, gets hit with the Rainmaker, and it turns out Okada's actually with the Bucks. So essentially what the Bucks just did is they more or less gave Hangman a paid vacation, quote unquote. And they fired Kenny Omega and replaced him with his rival from Japan, which, if you know the history, that clearly is going to set up Okada Omega at some point when Omega is cleared to come back. So that's going to be great. And I'm happy that they are setting that up. And the way that they set that up was so great too, because again, it makes the Bucks look so horrible and so douchey. And it sets Okada up to be this on-screen TV character, which a lot of people didn't think that could happen. They didn't think that they could make him a sustainable TV character, because he's never had to do that, because in New Japan it was just match. Now he has the chance to be a character, and not just a character, a heel character. And he was kind of doing that in New Japan anyway, but now he has the opportunity to do that nearly every week. And he doesn't have to do promos because the Bucks can do promos for him. If he wants to say a few things in English, I'm pretty sure he can say a few things. It's just not a full English promo. And that's fine. You don't have to have him do a full English promo because the allure of Okada isn't 10-minute promos. The allure of Okada is get in the ring and see what he can do between the ropes, and he's one of the best in the world at it. So you're going to tune into Okada for the matches. You're not going to tune into Okada to hear him speak for 10 minutes. That's not his thing. And if you're expecting that, then you're expecting the wrong thing. You're setting your expectations too high. I think the Bucks talking for him works in the sense that they put out a video afterward talking about how how he's got more money and he's got the Bucks agent now and he's gonna get a Ferrari and everything. I think having the Bucks talk for him and pretty much being his mouthpiece and saying, look at how much money he has now. Look at how rich off he is. And just talking him up. It's not just going to get people who've never seen him, who've never seen him in New Japan, who don't even know who he is. And I'm not talking about the mythical casual fan or blah, blah, blah. And maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But here's the point I'm making. There are going to be some people who tune into AEW who may only watch AEW and have only seen Okada maybe twice, 3 times during Forbidden Door season, but don't know Okada, but don't know who he is. And now that you have the Bucks to kind of basically tell that story for him and say, this is who he is. This is who Okada is. And they can tell that story in their own kind of heel douchey kind of way. But then you say, well, he's one of the best in the world in the ring. Okay. You put him in the ring with an Eddie Kingston. You put him in the ring with guys that can go. And when you do that, then you're not only telling people, here's why you should care. You're showing them this is why you should care. You're showing them this is why Okada is one of the best in the world. And I think that's what the message they're trying to send out is they want you to know that he's good. They want you to know he's one of the best, but not just by showing, but telling. And then the opposite way, not just by telling, but showing. Either way, you're going to get a great amount of action out of that, and a great amount and months of story with that too. And that's the great part of this. I think that was the best way to bring him in, is just to have him just immediately turn heel, immediately go with the Bucks and just show, okay, now you have a top heel act on the roster, which is really great stuff. I really liked that. So again, I like that they've built a dynasty and that it's just a through line between Revolution, this Dynamite that just happened, Big Business next week, which is going to be the debut of Mercedes Moné, and then Toronto, which they also set up on this show because Adam Copeland came back, and now Adam Copeland and Christian Cage are going to fight in a I Quit match in Toronto for the TNT title. And I could see Copeland winning, but I could see Copeland winning because I think it would be the right call for them. I think they want to have Copeland win in Toronto. And if that happens, it just wonders. I wonder what would happen to Danny Garcia after that. Would we pivot? Because I think they're also thinking that Copeland and Garcia didn't finish their match. And I could see Copeland wanting to put Garcia over. Like, personally, I could see him wanting to give that shine to him. But I don't know. It could go either way, personally. I could go either way with either Copeland winning or Christian winning. But considering what they did already, where Copeland won the belt and then he lost it 5 minutes later, I think they're going to have him win it there. I think so. So, again, I like that they are building to the next pay-per-view already. I like that they are being smart. They're not kind of being complacent and just saying, okay, we got like 6 weeks until the next, 8 weeks until the next show. So we're just going to be in cruise control until then. They're building a lot of stories. They're building to a lot of matches that people want to see. I know Willow Nightingale had a great promo tonight, or a great promo on Dynamite, I should say. Saying that she wants the TBS title from Julia Hart. Chris Statlander and Riho had a really, really great match that the crowd was into. And so the women's division really heating up, really cooking. There's still baby steps that they're taking, but they need to do a little bit more. I think they're going to do a little bit more because you don't pay Mercedes that as much as you're paying them and just having nothing change. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with them because they've been giving them 2 matches per Collision all the time. Well, not for the last, 4 weeks? And yeah, but everyone's like, oh, but wait a minute. It's squash matches. Yeah, but it's baby stuff still. I'd rather take 2 squash matches than 1 squash match and nothing else in the middle. I would rather have that, to be honest with you. So again, it's a little bit better than it was. It still needs a little bit more. So again, AEW's been firing on all cylinders. WWE's been firing on all cylinders too with the Cody and Roman and Seth and Rock thing. Women's division been very, very good. But I think AEW's kind of more in my tastes right now, and which is fine. I mean, everybody's going to have their own tastes. Everybody's going to have their own opinions. Everybody's going to have their own thoughts and things. But I feel more enthusiastic about talking about AEW. I feel more enthusiastic about talking about what they're doing and hoping that they succeed, because it's great to have a second option. So I hope that continues. I hope that the momentum continues. I hope that they can keep building this momentum. I hope that they keep building something special, because that's very important for ticket sales, for perception, for wanting more people to come in and watch. Having a strong product that people go out and tell their friends about is something that is very important. Very, very important. And I think that they are recognizing that slowly but surely. I think they're recognizing the fact that they need to kind of keep the gas pedal on and not kind of slow down. And if they do slow down, just kind of just ease it a little bit. So I think that if you really look in between the lines, they still have a lot of work to do. They still have a lot of work to do, but whose advice will they listen to? Who's who are they going to listen to when it comes to getting the momentum and using it to effectively? And that's what's important. And again, a lot of things they're doing right. There's still things that they have to fix. And tightening those up is the best short-term scenario. Tighten up the issues you have. Don't try to add more issues to it, is the thing that I'd say. Don't try to add more drama. Don't try to add more stress. Don't try to add more that you have to deal with later. Stay on focus. Stay targeted. Stay with your fan base. Keep them happy. Keep them satisfied. And they'll all come back. People will start rolling in once they hear the Rock is good. See, the other thing is a hot crowd, a hot product, hot wrestlers, hot matches. It all ties in together. If you got a great crowd, people are going to want to come back the next time you come in. The best talent, if they're hot on fire, they're giving you great match after great match. Guess what? When you come back, they're going to want to come back too. That's the kind of people. Those are the kind of people they need to focus on. And I hope that they can do that. I hope that they can keep that up, because if they do keep it up, they got an opportunity to really just grow and climb even more than they already have. But they got to stay eagle-eyed, because anything could derail things. I'm pretty sure they don't want to derail things. I don't know if they, not even I don't know. I know that they don't want to get problems, to have problems. So I wonder what's next. Next week is going to tell a lot. Big Business is going to tell a whole lot about not just what's happening now, but what's about to happen. What is about to happen is my question. I don't know. But I hope it's more than good. So, I think that's everything that I wanted to say. This is kind of a shorter podcast, but I want to kind of just dip my toes back into the water, really just kind of see where I'm at when it comes to this. But I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for all the support. And I hope that I can keep doing this. Let me know any critiques that you have for me. Let me know about any advice you have for me. And with that, thank you guys for listening. And I will talk to you guys next time.